So, thank you everyone for joining. First and foremost, it's a pleasure being here, and I hope that this talk will influence you in thinking on first how to approach AI and how to approach all this hype that's happening right now. And second, when you take like big decisions in building a product, in funding a product, or simply interacting with this technology, to start asking some questions and then take better decisions. Now, having said that, who am I? Really brief intro. I'm Horia. I'm a customer engineer at Google. This means that I cover mostly the technical part and I help companies deliver their mission. So with that being said, I'm interacting with a lot of teams. And what I'm going to share with you right now is based on that experience and based on the last, 18 years of experience in the field. So, nice. We have three main topics that we'll cover. First is asking a question if AI right now is a hype or if it's here to stay. Is this technology, like the past year NFT, or is it here to stay like the internet for the next 20 years and define all the industries that we have? That's one. Second is, taking a Socratic approach, asking ourselves, okay, what's our role in this whole game in building products? And the third is, of course, what's the end deal? How can we impact and maximize our effort and our yield coming from this technology? Cool. So, first thing first, let's take the adjacent possible. This is a framework that I'm using when I'm assessing new services, new products, and new technologies. Now, the adjacent possible, it's a really cool idea. I don't know if you've heard about it, but we have a few great writers. Anyway, that's a bit of a typo. So we have Stuart Kaufman, Kevin Kelly, but my favorite is actually Steven Johnson. And Steven Johnson, in his book, Where Good Ideas Come From, he expands this idea of the adjacent possible. And he says that, first and foremost, in order to push an idea, in order to push a product, a technology, you need to have certain criteria that needs to be met. Without that, you cannot push forward. And then, once you have this adjacent possible, once you met the criteria, of course, you unlock new nodes in these, in the node of the possibility of developing new technologies. So, let's take an example. Very easy, straightforward. Let's take the internet, right? What's the adjacent possible for the internet? Well, without all of these crazy things, like DNS, TCP/IP, www, without all of these, the internet could not happen, right? You take any one of these from the picture, and the internet is not there. At least not there as we know it, as the dominating technology that's influencing our society right now. Okay, cool. So that's on the left side. That's what we need in order to say this technology right now is mature enough to push forward and then to enable other technologies. So for the internet, let's do also the exercise on the right part. What did the internet enable? Well, of course, it's the AI, like blockchain, cloud computing, 5G, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Like, this is a very generic exercise, but just think in this framework. Now, this is not enough. We also need to assess the impact of this technology, right? The second part of the framework is this one. Come on. Next. Cool. So, we have 4 dimensions that we need to assess in order to see if this technology will stick or not. The first is, does this technology introduce a new paradigm? In many industries, right? Not a single industry, in many industries. Then it's ubiquity. Ubiquity is it's how much we interact and where do we find that technology, right? It should be everywhere. It should be like air. That's the maximum level of ubiquity. And then, of course, we have improved productivity in different fields and adoption. We'll have an example for this later. The internet, yeah, it marks like high marks all over the board. That's great. Now, no hate. Let's just check NFTs, just to see the scale. So we take the NFTs, and then did this actually bring a major paradigm shift in multiple industries? I think not. The digital assets, that's great, but then again, did it help us in healthcare, in industry, in production, automotive, whatever? No. This is why it scales really low on the major paradigm part. Ubiquity and ease of access, definitely, high marks, right? They were all over the place, and they were easy to access. Now, improved productivity, unfortunately not. Low score on that. And then mass adoption, unfortunately not. It turned out to be not, the digital asset management technology that it wanted to be. It turned out into something else. So NFTs, not quite. Now, having these two exercises, let's also see, the AI, just to answer the first question, right? AI. Now, is AI able to stay, right? Is AI enabled by this adjacent possible? So let's see. We have advanced computing. Without this, we couldn't talk about AI. And then availability of large data sets, right? Everybody knows LLMs, they crunch a lot of data. Without the Wikipedias and without all the large data sets, we couldn't have what it is right now. Open source software, this is again really major, right? Like just think of what Google did with the Transformer white paper, right? It was open sourced, and this enabled everyone else to build on top of that. And then, of course, we have the GPUs, TPUs, we have increased performance in the hardware, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a lot of things that right now are backing up AI and say, yes, it's mature and it's here to stay. Okay, cool. But is it also enabling other nodes in this adjacent possible? I think yes. So we have like self-driving cars and then medical diagnosis. We have drug discovery, natural language processing, a lot of great stuff that actually make this node, the AI, in the grand scheme of things, in the adjacent possibility of technologies, it makes it here to stay. Okay, that's nice. What about the second part of the analysis, right? The framework. Let's see. Major paradigm shift in many industries. Yep, I think we can talk about a lot of industries that are impacted right now about AI. Ubiquity and ease of access. I think that everybody can take their phones out, right? And we have AI. You take your laptop, you go anywhere, and you interact with this technology. Improve productivity across the board. Definitely, this I think is the major advantage of the technology. And then mass adoption. We still have a bit to work on that, but definitely it has high marks. So, what are, it's not a fad, it's here to stay. What about the outlook? I think that AI is here to stay. We still have some work to do, but whenever I interact with teams that are, we don't know if we should invest in this technology, maybe it's a fad, definitely it's here to stay. So, as investors, as developers, as startups, as in whatever role you have right now, I highly encourage you to see this technology as being mature and immovable. It's here to stay. Now, does this mean it's a really nice story? Let's see. So, major paradigm shift, right? Like we have it in so many fields: healthcare, office work, customer support, finance, e-commerce, whatever. Ubiquity, where do we find it? Like everywhere. What about mass adoption? Again, we have all generations, right, that are using it. All level of incomes, all nationalities, everywhere people are able and are enabled by you and by everyone that's using this technology are enabled to use AI. Okay, cool. So AI looks to be a really nice story until we have these things, right? So in order to push it even further, we really need to look into what's missing right now. And people are asking, but what about regulation, right? We see European Union that's pushing the envelope on regulations, and we're seeing US as well. Definitely that's a thing that we need to look out. So another thing, AI is here to stay, but we should check these things. The cost of AI is really high right now. The cost is subsidized a lot. So this means that companies are taking money out of their pockets in order to subsidize. So for all the funders, or for all the VCs, or for everybody that's putting their money in this technology, take a good look at the TCO, total cost of ownership, of this technology, because this is really important. And of course, when it comes to mass adoption, we also need to have fairness, trust, again, factfulness, grounding for AI, and then ethics. And we've reached, to the big point of this talk. So, is it AI the perfect story? I don't think so. Not yet. And why is that? Because we are responsible, both me, as the ambassador of this technology, and you as the adopters and builders based on this technology. We need to follow this to-do list in order to make it work. So, what's this to-do list? We have explainability and transparency. This is really important. Whenever we build products with AI, we need to be transparent and we need to be direct with our users, with the customers. Like, hey, we're using this technology, we're using AI. You're not talking with a real person, you're talking with an AI bot. This was generated based on this corpus of data. So we really need transparency in order to make this technology pick up and increase the adoption rate. Bias and fairness. There is a lot of effort that is deployed right now by all the major players that are building these large language models, and not only large language models, but in general, deploying AI to make it fair. You see a lot of improvement across the years, but even so, that's one of the major things, because even if us, the major cloud providers, the major providers of this technology, even if we're building these things safe with trying to reduce the bias, that's not enough, right? Because we have a shared responsibility between the providers of the technology and the ones that are implementing it. We both need to make it fair for the users. Okay, and then we have a lot of other things that are going on here. Data privacy and security, my God, that's a big thing. Whenever you think of implementing AI, definitely you'll need a corpus of data, right? Something that makes you unique, or else you would use the same models as everyone else. So what's your advantage? What's your competitive advantage? And that would be data, relevant data for your use case. And that data needs to be secure. I cannot highlight this more than I'm doing it right now. Regulation and governance, and then we have skills and educations, right? Like even this event that we're having here, everything. We really need to get up to speed with what AI is and the potential impact of this technology. Okay, cool. So we have the to-do list. Now we know that we need to keep an eye out on specific stuff. So let's take a Socratic approach right now. Let's take this exercise, right? And see what are principles and regulations? Do we need it in AI? So I would challenge you to ask a few questions. Ask yourselves a few questions, right? So first and foremost, what are principles? I don't know. For me, principles are the rules that I follow when nobody's watching, regardless of the context, and the rules that are guiding me through life and through my interactions with the world around me. Okay, that's nice. That's my definition. I don't know your definition. I'm really curious about that. Do we need principles? I don't know. Are my rules the same, the things that are guiding me are the same as the rules that are guiding you in life, in society? Maybe. Like we have this social contract between us, but then again, I don't think that we're overlapping 100%. So, maybe. Do we need to have the same principles? I don't know. Do we want to coexist? If we want to coexist, then definitely we need to have an overlap, not 100%, but then again, we need to have an overlap. And are principles, the shortcut to, is regulation a shortcut to align on principles? So I don't have the same principles as you, right? I like to drive fast. I actually don't, but I like to drive fast, right? But then again, maybe not everybody wants that. So do we have regulations that will help us coexist on the road? Maybe. Is that a good thing? Maybe. But then again, this is, like the pinnacle of the Socratic approach on this topic. should AI be regulated, right? If we don't have the same principles, which is kind of good, right? Diversity leads to evolution, etc. Do we need to have this regulation? And if yes, what should be regulated, right? Should we regulate all of the topics that are covered by AI or only certain topics, and who decides that? Should some politicians decide that? Maybe, if they know the technology. Should big players in the market decide that? Maybe. So all of these are questions that we should ask, and everybody here in the room having an active role in pushing this technology should ask these questions, right? Cool. Now, let's take another exercise for this Socratic approach, safety and security. Should we search everything over the internet? I don't know. I'm doing that all day. How do I get to this place? What hotel should I choose? Is it going to rain or not? I don't know. I'm searching a lot of stuff. And then, even so, should we search, for this, I'm going in a forest and I'm searching for mushrooms. I take my picture, I use Google Lens, for example, bam, and I see that the mushrooms are not poisonous. I take them home, I make a nice stew, that's great. Should I do that? Should I have trust in that technology? I don't know, it's my choice on that spot. Or should I search for symptoms, right? Oh my God, I'm coughing. What should I do now? Should I do that? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe not. And then we have, should I search if 3 milliliters of Tylenol is the best dosage for my kid? I don't know. But definitely this is happening, right? And then, okay, who says the results are safe or not? That's the big question, right? And if you're here in this room, thinking of AI as a technology that you want to implement and you want to ride the wave, definitely you have some of these responsibility on your shoulders. Okay, now, censorship and responsibility, this is really easy. Should you censor, the input? Should we create this AI that has a really, great view over the world? It doesn't know about wars, it doesn't know about atrocities, it doesn't know about anything, and it's all happy-go-lucky? Or should we teach this technology about everything that's happening in the world, have a real view? But then again, if we're doing that, and if we're feeding this technology with everything that's happening in the world, should we censor something on the outside? I don't know. Again, it's one of the questions that you should answer for yourselves if you're going to use this technology in your products and in your solutions. Because we both, us at Google, for example, and you, as implementing this technology, we both carry this weight on our shoulders. Social engineering, I won't go through this because we are almost out of time. So let's take the acid test, right? Like a really, really fast example. So we have 2 products, left and right. One was deployed in 2007 and the other in 2015. Again, this is a really cool exercise for everybody that wants to invest in this technology, right? And let's see the impact of ethics and responsibility. So first, it was developed by a single person as a 20% project. We have that on the left side. And on the right side, we have a product that was developed by a team that was put together specially for that product. Also, both are provided by Google. And then both stayed in beta for a lot of time. And one was free, one was up to 1.5K as a price tag, which is really nice. One became a 1.8 billion user product, and the other one died. What are the products? Okay, search engine, office word. First, it was Gmail. Gmail was actually produced by a single person as a 20% project, as an internal tool for Google, and then it was rolled out, adopted as a product. And second was Google Glass. The glasses, the cool glasses? That's nice. They died. Now, why? Why that happened? The major paradigm shift in industries, my God, yes, definitely. It had so much potential, right? Glasses, the ubiquity, yeah, like fashion, medical, education, all over. Ubiquity and ease of access, definitely. Like, if you search for Google, I did that, it says that almost half the population of this world needs glasses in some way or fashion. So definitely, right, you had an addressable market of over 4 billion people. So improve productivity? Yes, definitely improve productivity, right? You're a mechanic and you want to debug something. You're a medical doctor and you want to, expedite all your procedures during the operations? Definitely yes. But then again, why did it fail? Was it the price tag? Maybe, I don't know. But then again, do we have the mass adoption? Not. And why was that? First and foremost, if you remember, it was privacy concern, right? Everybody, oh my God, you're creeping me out, you're always carrying a camera. You know, like right now I could, capture all the images with your faces, etc., and people freaked out. Why? Because the adjacent possible of this technology was not met. People were not ready to take this technology at face value. Again, it's ethics and responsibility. The technology was not ready, so the product did not stick. It was in beta, prohibitive price tag. So of course it wasn't only that, right? When you, in hindsight, everybody's an expert, and right now, you know, like prohibitive pricing, lack of open software support, etc., etc. But the major thing was exactly this ethics and compliance and how people viewed it. And I think that that's the case with AI right now. And in order to make this technology work, we need to have these exercises where we ask ourselves, what's this technology all about? Am I responsible for that? And how do I push this technology in an ethical and responsible way? So yeah, that's the thing. Thank you very much for having this time with me. And right now we should have a transition. I don't know if we have time for Q&A or not, but I will pass the baton to the next speaker. Thanks a lot.